Welcome to the topic series. This is Roy Paulson from Paulson Manufacturing, and today we're speaking with Hugh Hoagland from ArcWear.com. Hugh is going to talk to us about the difference between arc flash testing for fabrics versus arc flash testing for face shields. So Hugh, I know that these tests developed and they're separate tests, and I know that your own lab does arc flash testing on fabrics.
Sure.
Why is there a difference? I mean, people come to me and say, why isn't it just one test?
Right. Well, when we first started out, we started testing fabrics. So we didn't even actually look at face shields for years because clear face shields, we tried some on mannequins and they were getting basically no arc rating, maybe 1 calorie protection, until you came up with the ideas that we used in the first shields.
That's in the very beginning.
It was pretty cool back that day. But in the early days, we only did test fabrics. And as we tested fabrics, there were hoods made out of fabrics with clear shields, but they really wouldn't protect. So we didn't need a separate shield standard at that time. But as we came out with that shield back in 1997, and then kind of hit, I think the patent hit in 1999, when that came out and the standard then kicked in, I believe in 2002, because we were doing research on this all along, trying to find shields that would meet a protective value. I think the only thing out there was really gold or something like a welding shield that you couldn't really see through. So the golds would make, I think, 5 to 8, depending on each one. But as we came out that new technology that blocked so much more of the infrared, it just changed the world. So as we started testing those, we said, hey, we need a method for testing the shields, because the shields themselves could actually do a really high protection value without fabric. And so we started testing shields, but you have to have a different shield test because you have to put it on, the fabric is tested on a flat panel. And so it measures energy coming straight through, and it actually touches the back of the fabric just like your skin does. Whereas with the face shield, it never touches your body. So if you use that type of test, it would be extremely harsh and wouldn't really be fair to the face shield. So we developed a method where we put sensors in the eyes, the mouth, and underneath the chin, and we even have one in the neck just for knowledge purposes, and we look at how that whole shield system or hood system works as a system, because you're not really testing just the fabric there, you're also testing the whole system, how it's lined up.
Yeah, I have people that ask me, they say, if you've got a fabric test and then you have a shield test, why do you have to test the two together?
Now that's a really good question, and the reason is that the fabric test, being flat on a panel, it doesn't have any oxygen behind it. But once you put it on a shield now, it's got lots of oxygen behind it, and we'll actually see effects on the back side of a fabric that did great on the panel that'll have a much, much worse after flame time. And so that fire is actually inside on the face. So we have to limit that fabric in that design with that oxygen availability on the back. That's why you don't want to just take a 40 cal fabric, put it with a shield that had been tested with another fabric to 40 cals and say, okay, that makes it, because your fabric system might not work the same as somebody else's. Also, we don't have a specific design. How long does the bib have to be? Whereas in the test, we can test it to a really big electric arc and see if that bib has issues. If it's too short, it'll allow burns to come into the chin or the neck sensor. So that way we can give that feedback to the manufacturer. They can redesign that hood design. So the fabric might work, the shield might work, but if either the fabric is now got all that oxygen behind it, or if just the design of your bib is not right, you might get energy around it.
I've seen bibs that have actually curled up.
Oh, yeah.
And as they curled up, then the after flame came up underneath and spoiled the test.
That's right. And we're always working on the standard to try to find better ways to replicate what might happen to a worker in the field. Because, you know, some of these workers are in a setting where if they get spooked or whatever in the arc, they may not be burned, but if they get some flame coming up underneath and it freaks them out, they may run off the end of a building or something. So we want to make sure that this worker, if they ever are in one of these events, are as protected as possible.
Yes, and obviously it would be a very traumatic event to go through an arc flash.
Oh, of course.
And instincts take over. You're not necessarily thinking, during that period of time.
Right.
One of the things that I've seen relative to these fabrics also is that different fabrics react in a different way relative to afterflame.
Yeah.
Synthetic fabrics versus the cotton fabrics, for example.
Yeah, every fabric has a point where it has afterflame issues. So it just, some of the synthetic fabrics do it at different temperatures, the cotton fabrics do it at different temperatures. So that's why you have to look at this system and make sure it works with that shield. There's certain fabrics that just are better than others for certain levels. And so we always try to look at the arc flash shield, the arc flash hood materials that go with that level of a hood. And you can fix it by putting on extra protection, or you can fix it by using the right fabrics.
So today we've been talking about arc flash, some of the nuances of the testing, as you were talking about there, and understanding why there's an arc flash test for the fabric, why there's an arc flash test for the face shield that combines the two. Thank you.